Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Recently, a film crew from Russia visited the Lake Sunapee region as part of an international project documenting the life of a theologian with ties to people in Vermont and New Hampshire.
И вот так мы узнали о книгах отца Александра Шмема.
And so we learned about the books by Father Alexander Schmemann.
Have come to document and to meet as many people as have been touched by this encounter with a very, very special person who came to America in the early 50s, passed away in 1983, but during his stay in America had touched so many and had changed people's lives. He was the dean of St. Vladimir's Theological Seminary in New York, the highest theological educational institution in the United States for Orthodox Christians. And his role is impossible to simply describe in a few words. He did so much.
The first our surprise was that Father Alexander answers the questions we had, despite the fact that we were Russians and he was an American.
Also, not only he made that impact on the people with whom he met, or his students, of whom I am very, very proud to be one, but also for many, many years, he recorded a broadcast every week to then Soviet Union in Russian language that was broadcast Radio Liberty. And the number of people who listened to him, sometimes struggling with the jamming stations that the Soviet Union placed around major cities, to listen to his words, that number was astronomical. It's best expressed by the greatest writer of the 20th century, Russian writer by the name of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Nobel laureate, who said that he, once in a while, he was able to get through the jamming and to listen to this broadcast of this Father Alexander, whose voice was so true and spoke so directly about the most important things in human experience in general, and particularly in the perspective of the Christian life. That, of course, when Solzhenitsyn was exiled, one of the first few people he met in exile was Father Alexander Schmemann. And they formed a very, very deep friendship.
And this led us to the idea that we must get acquainted people with the tradition of liturgical theology by Father Alexander.
So even now, 30-some years after Father Alexander's passing away, the people in Russia, Christians in Russia especially, still find themselves encountering these words. These words are still present, put on the airways. His books are published in Russian language, and they are studied very, very hard and meticulously by people in many theological institutions. So this crew had decided to create a documentary to bring not only the words that Father Schmemann spoke during his life, but also the impact that he had on the lives of his students and his friends. And so they are traveling all across the United States. They're trying to meet and interview as many former students and colleagues and friends of Father Schmemann as they could possibly find. I am extremely excited about this project, and I can't wait to see it in its final form, because it will be for us, for me personally, it will be a feast. It would be a wonderful opportunity to see not only the importance of this man who had a singular importance in my life, who had baptized me into the Orthodox Church, who had been my beloved teacher for all this time of our acquaintance, and a mentor, and in a sense ideal, maybe unwittingly, but he had opened the door of priestly ministry for me as well. And so I've been a priest for 35 years because I've met Father Alexander. No wonder that after 30 somewhat years, his words are still as potent and as important as they ever were before. No wonder. These words speak of Christ. These words speak of the day that never ends, of the life that is filled with joy and purpose and meaning and strength and courage. And so right now, maybe more than before, these words need to be spoken again. And his image that right now is formed as a mosaic from little bits and pieces that we all carry, all those who love him, all those who have met him, all those people who have truly been privileged to witness his life. So that image, like a grand mosaic, is going to be assembled by that creative crew from Russia.
Christ is risen.
Father Andrew Tregobov of Holy Resurrection Church in Claremont is also a master iconographer, and before returning to Russia, Alexander Solzhenitsyn lived in Cavendish, Vermont.